Hello, hello, and welcome to another coffee break. Today, we are going to be talking about the changes that are happening in your 401k for 2026. I know you're super excited to know all the wonderful things that are going on there, and we are leaving the financial jargon out of it. So, this should be pretty easy to understand and hopefully a little bit enjoyable. Now, before we jump into those 5 things you should know, let's talk about what coffee break is for those of you who are new. So coffee breaks are made for basically 401k participants, people who, are participating or eligible for their 401k. This is for you to help you get through all of the muck that happens with your 401k, understand it so you can use it to your advantage and to really, secure your financial future. That's the whole idea. And we make them really short, 15 minutes or less. The whole idea is you're supposed to grab your cup of coffee, watch the video for 15 minutes or less, and then go back to work. Coffee break, right? And today we're just going to do highlights. So if you have any questions on your particular situation, feel free to wait till the end of the video. There's going to be a slide there that shows you how to get in contact with us, and you can schedule a no obligation consultation with us to go through all of the particulars for yourself. All right. Chris and I are One Vision Retirement. Chris works a lot with business owners, putting these kind of benefits in place for you guys. And I help employees all over the place work with these types of benefits and see what fits for your situation and how best to use them to get you to financial freedom as quickly as possible. Okay, that's enough of the housekeeping. We are going to get into it. So basically, there have been some number changes when it comes to your contribution, particularly for those who are between the ages of 60 and 63. So let's go through the numbers for 2026. Your base employee contribution has now gone up to $24,500. So that's how much anybody can put into their 401k. Your regular catch up, which means anybody who's over the age of 50 can put in $8,000 more, which would take you to $32,500. Now, if you're between the ages of 60 and 63, you get this enhanced catch up. And the enhanced catch up means that you can put in more between the ages of 60 and 63 than you can from 50 up. They consider these kind of like your peak earning years to help you accelerate those retirement savings. That's why they did it. And this is all part of that Secure Act 2.0. Now, if you're between the ages of 60 and 63, you can put in $11,250 more, which basically takes you up to $35,750 you can put into your 401k in 2026. Get all that? Did you write it all down? Okay. If you didn't, it's okay. Just reach out and I'm happy to give you that information. But that just means you can put more money away, which is always a good thing. And it keeps up with inflation and all that stuff. So we want those numbers to be going up every year so you can put away a little bit more money into your retirement. Okay, so the next thing is Roth 401k catch-up contributions. This might be something that people are not happy about, but let's go through it, okay? So basically, if you made $145,000 or more previous year wages, so 2025 in this case, all of your catch-up contributions must go into the Roth, which is not pre-tax, but after tax. So it doesn't eliminate your catch-ups, okay? It just means that your catch-up has to go into the Roth portion of your 401k. So basically, you're just going to pay taxes on that money now rather than later. And you're going to feel like this is not great because your take home is going to feel slightly lower because you are not getting that tax benefit necessarily while you put in your catch-up money. However, let's try to look at it as a positive in many respects because this just means more tax diversification on your retirement assets when you retire. So you will have some after-tax money that you can pull from. Not everything's going to be taxable. So while it's kind of a bummer, it's really only people who make $145,000 indexed. And honestly, in the long run, you might be happy once you're sitting there at 75 and you have some Roth money. Okay. So let's see a positive spin to this. Okay. All right. I know a lot of people are unhappy with that one. Okay. This one's kind of interesting. So employers can offer the match that they give you guys into a Roth rather than pre-tax. So they may offer that. This is optional for employers. So they don't have to do this. So don't call your HR and say that you have to do this. They don't have to do this. This is just an option. And basically, employees would pay taxes on that match up front. So depending on where you sit on this, you might not want to get the match in the Roth because then you have to pay taxes on it up front. Again, the nice thing is you'd have some more tax-free income later, but you would have higher income reported today. So it's kind of a trade-off, right? What works better for you? So another reason that planning matters, and if your employer decides to do this, you will want to work with a tax professional and your financial professional to see how this works for you in the long run. Okay, so like I said, it's interesting. Not everybody's thrilled about that one, but I think it's kind of a nice option to have. Okay, this is a big one that people don't realize. So auto enrollment and auto escalation continue to reshape the 401k plans. So one of the quieter and more impactful shifts that are continuing in 2026 is these automatic features that are happening in the 401k. So under the Secure Act 2.0, new plans are generally required to automatically enroll employees. So if you don't want to be enrolled in the 401k, you have to let them know. Otherwise, you're going to be automatically enrolled. And if you do get automatically enrolled, you can just say, I don't want to be a part of it, and it's fine. Okay. And then automatic increases to your contribution over time. So this is going to affect mainly newer plans, and essentially it might not affect you if you've been in your plan for 15 years or so, but it's really important to know this, especially if you have kids or, young people who are kind of figuring this all out. Automation can be helpful, but it's definitely not personalized. Make sure that you are checking your 401k, seeing what your contribution percentages or numbers are, and confirm whether auto escalation is on for you. And so, and just remember too, when let's say your company decides to move from one provider to another, yes, your funds move over seamlessly. It doesn't feel like a new plan, but that new feature could be turned on for you if they did something like that recently. So you just want to make sure you understand that so you don't have a surprise. Because I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but I think people need to make that decision for themselves if this is what they want to do. Okay, number 5 is more contribution options means more planning. Now, you've heard me say this a lot. There's a lot going on with these 401k plans. There's always changes. There's changes coming down the pike of what can be offered to you as investments in the 401k. Like, lots of changes are happening. It is really important to have people to go talk to and plan with when you're deciding these things. People tend to shrug off, oh, it's a Roth or it's a traditional. That stuff makes a difference. I will tell you from experience, having clients who are in retirement, some of them wish they had made different choices. I'm not going to tell you what choice they made or anything like that, but it's really important to go through this when you have these options, to know and to make educated choices on what you want to do. So, go through this stuff with your tax preparer, go through this stuff with your financial advisor. The goal isn't just to save more, but it's to save smarter for you in your situation. And so you're happy sitting in retirement with the choices that you made. Okay. So in conclusion, 2026 is not about doing more with your 401k. It's about being more intentional with the opportunities that already exist. And, there are definitely some changes, not huge changes, not like what we saw in 2025, but the enhanced catch-up contribution being more, having the Roth options, having to put your money in a Roth if you exceeded a certain amount of wages. That kind of stuff is really important to understand and take advantage of some opportunities if they make sense for your situation. And the other thing is, don't let automation take over your plan. Make sure you're actively involved. If you've heard me say this before, you should be check in your 401k at least once a quarter just to see what's going on and make sure everything's working the way you want it to. So, like I said in the past, we have plenty of videos on different aspects about the 401k, so feel free to look around our YouTube channel to find more options. And if you have questions when it comes to your personal situation, feel free to reach out to us. You can email us at info@onevisionretire.com, go to our website at onevisionretire.com, or find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active over there, and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you in that regard. Hopefully these are good changes for you, but even if they're not, they are what they are, and we will make them work for your financial freedom journey. Take care, be strong out there, be kind to one another, and we will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.